where the government there has issued fresh guidelines over slapping of sedition charges. That's right, the resolution, which is seen to be ambiguous according to many legal luminaries, says that any anti-government speech or expression that incites violation or that leads to disaffection will amount to sedition, in which the maximum punishment is life imprisonment. The government now is facing the heat over its diktat. Kamlesh Sutar, who was the first to report that story, now reports.
Maharashtra government's chilling guidelines on sedition have shocked one and all. A resolution passed by Devendra Fadnavis' government states that whoever brings hatred or contempt or attempts to excite rebellion towards state government or public or government representatives provoking violence would invite Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code. However, any such act done to lawfully bring about change in government would not invite sedition charges. In layman's language, if you write or speak anything offensive against the government or government representatives that incites violence, then it may amount to sedition. Top legal luminaries have lashed out at the move, questioning the very logic behind charging criticism with something as stringent as sedition.
The essence of sedition under 124E is, Supreme Court said in Kedarnath's case in 62, that he must incite violence. Criticism of government, however pungent, is not sedition. But sedition really is trying to overthrow established government.
अगर कोई भी कानून संविधान के जो प्रावधान है उसके ऊपर नहीं जा सकता या उससे अगर टकराता है तो वो टूट जाएगा। तो अब ये जो बात इन्होंने इस जेआर के जरिए कही है, ठीक है, इन्होंने इशू किया है। अब जब एक कोई टेस्ट केस बनेगा और ये जब कोई कार्रवाई करेंगे और जिस पर कार्रवाई करेंगे वो जब उसको आप चैलेंज करेगा कोर्ट में जाकर के पिटीशन के जरिए तो शायद टिक ना पाए।
So if you plan to raise a voice against ministers, Zilla Parishad chairman, mayor or any other elected representative of the government, then be ready to face trouble. Section 124A that defines punishment under sedition says that any person charged with this offence is liable to a maximum of life imprisonment and minimum punishment for the same is a penalty. The opposition too is not letting the BJP government in Maharashtra breathe easy.
कि आज महाराष्ट्र की सरकार और गृह विभाग की तरफ से जो शासन निर्णय निकला है, ये लोकतंत्र का गला घोटने का पहला कदम इन्होंने उठाया है.
Let the government or let the high courts and all the supreme courts of the world give us, or people like me, a different country where we can shift to.
The move comes after the Bombay High Court mentioned guidelines on circumstances under which Section 124A can be slapped in the case of cartoonist Asim Trivedi, who was charged with sedition during the Anna Hazare agitation.
Maharashtra government for now is silent on the entire controversy surrounding the GR. Legal experts and political parties equally believe that this could seriously encroach upon the freedom of expression. For now, this issue has turned into a big political debate in Maharashtra. With camera person Mangesh Sawant, Kamlesh Sutar in Mumbai for India Today.
Let's take that debate beyond Maharashtra, because it really could, if this is the rule of law of sedition, then it could affect anyone who says anything against the government that spreads disaffection. Sanju Verma, spokesperson Maharashtra BJP, joins me. Nitin Pradhan, senior lawyer, joins me. Sanju Verma, please tell me, is sedition simply spreading disaffection? If I say something which the government finds critical tomorrow, they will charge me with sedition. What is the Maharashtra government doing? Why make such a broad, generalized definition of sedition that gives police ample powers to arrest and prosecute?
Rajdeep, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. Let me come straight to the point. I think the sedition law has been there in India since 1870. It is a colonial legacy that we have inherited. We might want to discuss the pros and cons of it, but let me just go back in time and remind you that in the case of Kedarnath versus the state of Bihar, the Supreme Court very categorically upheld the sedition law in India. It also has constitutional validity under Chapter 6 of the Constitution, And what the Maharashtra government is simply trying to do is putting things in perspective. Do not forget that all that the government regulation says is that, you know, anyone who excites or attempts to excite with the intent to create rebellion, with the attempt to create hatred, enmity, any form of disaffection towards the established government which has been
no, these are very vague words. My problem, I have no problem that the government clarifies. Every government has a right to clarify a particular law as the Bombay High Court asked. Disaffection?
There is a difference between sedition and criticism. There is a difference between exciting hatred and, par for the course dissent. So let us not try to confuse things. All that the government is seeking to do in Maharashtra is to ensure that arbitrary application of the sedition law is not something that becomes part of the
GR itself is arbitrary, using words like disaffection.
Let me just complete. At various police stations, it is the station officers in charge who have the right, who have the authority to apply laws in various cases. So in fact, I think what we should be doing is we should be appreciating the fact that the Maharashtra government has taken the bull by the horns and issued a circular to prevent arbitrary application of the sedition law, which, mind you, has been in existence in 1870. It is not something, which has just come about now. Be it the Binayak Sen case, be it the Arundhati Roy case, be it the Kedarnath case. In every case, right from the relevant High Court to the Supreme Court of India, the constitutional validity of 124A and related acts pertaining to 153A(b), Section 504 and Section 505 of the Indian Penal Code, these have all been upheld by no less than the apex body of this country, that is the Supreme Court. So I don't know what the halabaloo is all about.
I'll tell you what that... Just a minute now, ma'am.
Entitled to ensure that arbitrary application of the law is prevented. You and me should be appreciating that the government has taken a stance which will prevent arbitrary application of the law. And here we are crying foul for something that the government should actually be applauded for.
Okay, ma'am, you've come for the first time on my program, so I've given you more time than perhaps I would normally give. But let me get in Nitin Pradhan. Nitin Pradhan, here is Ms. Verma saying, what is this hullabaloo about? The government, if anything, is trying to clarify the supposed arbitrariness over sedition so that a case like Asim Trivedi, the cartoonist who was arrested for sedition, does not happen again. How do you respond, Nitinji?
There is frankly speaking, the ambiguity is created more by the Bombay High Court judgment, with due respect. There are 4 cases on this issue. One is Kedarnath Singh, as Mr. Soli Sorabji has referred to, that is AR 1962 Supreme Court. Second case is Balwant Singh. I will just narrate this. Third case is Nazir Khan, and fourth case is Rangarajan. All these 4 cases are dealing with the sedition, section 124A. Now they have explained that every action, whether written or spoken or otherwise, that should be with an intent to overthrow the government by violent means. So therefore there is something to do with the public order. And therefore the offence under section 124A must necessarily with intention to overthrow the government or overthrow the government. Now all these 4 judgments have been referred to by Bombay High Court in its division bench in Asim Trivedi's case. The notification which has been issued is an exact word-to-word translation of Bombay High Court judgment and the directions given.
Will it lead to arbitrariness? So my simple question, do you believe it will lead to arbitrariness, or has it clarified the situation? Quick answer.
Yeah. Not only arbitrariness, it has created more vague, and it has created more confusion. The government ought to have, in fact, the state government ought to have, in fact, approached the High Court again.
Can I please come in?
No cross talk. Let him complete. Why do you believe it is vague?
Just wait. Let me just explain.
Why is it vague?
This is absolutely, particularly the second clause. That is the third one. Second. So that the direction is in that second clause which is given by the High Court, words, signs or representations against politicians or public servants by themselves do not fall in this category unless the words, signs, representation show them as a representative of the government. This is in fact, according to me, with due respect, it is irrelevant for the purpose of reading section 124A. Now, the government of Maharashtra has reproduced everything as it is from the judgment and introduced that government resolution. According to me, the government ought to have approached the Honorable High Court and said that, well, kindly give us clarification, because this particular paragraph number 2, which I have just now told you.
I get your point, sir.
This is absolutely vague, and it has nothing to do with the intent of the legislature or what the letter of law and the spirit of law is.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I've run out of time.
According to me,
I've run out of time. I've got both sides of the story.
Just one last comment.
I will give you 10 seconds, ma'am.
Comment.
Because you're making your debut on my program,
Yes,
10 seconds extra to you.
Thank you for your graciousness, Randeep. I just want to say one thing. Freedom is never absolute. It comes with a license. And you know, while we may sit in TV studios and debate, let us not forget that even freedom of expression under Article 19 clearly said that it is subject to public order, morality and health. And that is what the Maharashtra government resolution
I don't deny, but why
elucidates.
sedition?
So as I said,
it doesn't need to be seen with sedition. That's my only point.
Application of the law. The intent is not to allow arbitrary application of the law. And as I said, you know, let us not try to fix something which is not broken.
Okay.
By unnecessarily trying to create a halablu around
Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there.
We
My worry is that it is not sedition. Yes, there should be reasonable restrictions to free speech. Why link it to sedition is my only question. Ms. Verma, Mr. Pradhan, appreciate your joining us. Will this stand in the Supreme Court? We don't know.